What is going on today, guys? So today we're going to start on something I've been looking forward to for a really long time, and that is a whole host of upgrades for the Farm Find Foxbody. Okay, let me swap this around real quick. Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing, all right? We are going to be swapping out the master cylinder with a four-wheel disc, because we are going to be converting it to disc. We've got the Cobra booster up here, some stainless steel lines, Cobra rotors, we got some caster camber plates, again, all the rotors and the stuff like that. We are going to be swapping it to 5 lug, so that requires spindles, which, let's see, I don't know if they're really ready just yet, but that requires some new spindles to go up front on there, as well as some wheel hubs. We're also going to be doing Cobra brakes up front, so these are the Cobra calipers. We're just going to do the standard brakes in the rear for right now. We can always swap them out, but I actually pulled these off of the 96, funny enough, and blasted them and painted them, so they're actually really nice. Now, so that's what you'll need to do if you ever are swapping over from like a disc brake rear end, like one of these cars, for example. You'll need these plates as well as the axles, which I did save from the other car that I actually just scrapped, which was the 94 that had that 302 in it over there, and then there's a T5 transmission that we're actually also going to put into this car because it's really good, and this car needs a second gear synchro. So I'm going to get started on all this. We may cut in and out of what we're actually going to be doing, but this is going to be the first big upgrade. Is going to be redoing the rear end because we're swapping over the cover. I grabbed some new bearings for it, swapping out the axles, putting all the brakes on. So that's where we're probably going to start out today. But we are going to add in, I did grab some of the torque boxes, torque box reinforcements, which are these bad boys, which I did also on the green car, as well as we are going to do spherical bushings up top and tubular control arms for the rear. This is right here, sorry for the mess. This is the K-member that will eventually be making its way into the car. It's an AJE with what appears to be AJE A-arms that are SN95 width, so it gives a little bit of better tracking side to side, as well as we are going to eventually get these E7 heads. I have to have them checked for straightness before I put them in, but we're going to go ahead and grab those, put those on when we do that as well. Probably do that when we do the K-member. We're going to do this GT40 intake that I have, as well as we're going to swap out, there's some long tubes on there that are a little rusty, so we're going to swap out those shorty headers that are nice and condensed, and yeah, we're going to get it all done. Probably do a clutch somewhere in there as well. Clutch is a little stiff in the car, but beyond that, I think what we need to do is I want to pull the rear end out of this car so that I can service it outside of the car, make it a little bit easier on myself, and yeah, let's start from there. Okay, so we have the rear end out of the car. Thankfully, all of the bushings came out, all the bolts came out of the bushings nicely. The only thing that kind of sucks that I gotta decide on is that pinion seal is absolutely leaking. I need to make the decision if I'm going to deal with that now. I kind of don't want to, because I was going to leave the gears in this car as of right now. So probably what I'll end up doing is I'll probably pull the cover, drain the fluid. I need to change the wheel bearings on this, just pretty straightforward. And then we could slide the new axles in. I can make that decision at a later point in time. To be honest, it would be a simple R&R. That I could even have a shop do, just so I don't have to try to relash a set of factory gears, or at a minimum I could decide if I want to go up in gears. I really love 373s in pretty much all my vehicles, so I really wouldn't have any issues with that, swapping them out, but it's just something I don't really want to deal with right now. So we're going to keep cruising along. I need to press out the old upper bushings, get these drums off. Sorry, move that off. Get these drums off against just the 4 bolts in the back, press out those upper bushings for the sphericals. And yeah, we'll just keep cruising right along. So then I'll need to go ahead and pull out all the factory control arms, but that's a pretty straightforward process. So okay, I'm gonna probably do this part off camera just because it's not really glorious. It's pretty straightforward and simple, just kind of annoying. So yeah. Okay, so we got the backing plates in, we got new bearings and seals in the actual tubes themselves. I'm still not entirely sure about if I'm going to change the pinion out, but thankfully it's not really a big deal. The only thing I would have to do, I'm going to put the axles back in and then put the cover on. But really, the only thing I'd have to do is pull the axles out, so it's really not even a big deal. I'm not going to fill this just yet, just because I want to think it over and see what options we have. But now to get all that in, and yeah, good to go. I love how these brackets turned out. Okay, guys, here we are. I did go ahead and get both the bushings out. Unfortunately, the camera died when I was pulling this one out. This one's such a pain to get out, but I did get it out. I had to kind of smash the end up here, which is why I hit the housing a little bit. But we have the axles in. We've got the new Explorer design timing cover where it's got a fill and drain in it. Really like those. And we have the plates on. So unfortunately I got to take off for today, but what we're gonna do when we come back, I'm gonna put in those spherical bushings right there and there, which would be nice. Put all of the brakes on. I've got all of the stuff, and yeah, pretty much, unless I decide to peel apart the rear end and do, I was kind of looking at 373s, unless I decide to do that, that'll probably wrap up the rear axle for now. At least I might hit it with a coat of paint, but it's kind of cold and snowy out, so might have to hold off on that for right now. But pretty much that's for the most part, that's it. So this rear axle is pretty much all done. The gears look good for what they are. So yeah, we will circle back to this and make a decision if I'm going to rebuild this rear end or not, and go from there. If not, worst case, it's probably fine as it is. What's going on today, guys? So it's a new day. We've got not a whole lot left to do on this. Probably going to leave the pinion seal for right now. It wasn't really leaking too bad. It was kind of annoying. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw on these spherical upper bushings. And yeah, then we'll probably move on to pulling some control arms out of the car itself. Probably have to remove some exhaust as well, but not too bad. These are pretty straightforward. This is just a kit I got off eBay a while back. Pretty easy overall. It looks like they just want you to like sand down right here to make sure everything's good. And yeah, really not too bad if I'm being honest with you, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward, all things considered. So we're gonna go ahead and slam these in, and we'll just keep moving right along.
Tell you what I saw. When you break it up, you'll see who had it all. You had it
Okay, we got all that taken care of. One of the threads is starting to get knurled up. So I'm going to throw on the brakes on the end of this, and yeah, we should be in pretty good shape from this. Well, there it is. We've got the brakes all on. We've got the spherical bushings in. I lightly attached the brake line. So basically this rear axle is more or less completely together. I gotta actually put some sealant on the actual housing itself. But what we'll probably end up doing next is probably end up throwing in these control arms that I have on the car, as well as the torque box brackets. I have to double check. I know the convertibles were a little different. I was able to get the torque box brackets to work on the last car that I had. However, on this one, I'm not sure if it's going to work because of the floor plan design. So I need to look into that, but the next step will be putting in those, and then I can, once the control arms, torque box brackets are in, I think we're able to slide the axle back underneath. What I'll probably have to do, unfortunately, I'll probably have to disassemble more of the exhaust. So this might be kind of turning a situation where we had with the green car, where I have more stuff I need to do up front with the exhaust side. So I might have to leave the rear end out, depending, but these over axle pipes are all clamp on, so that's really nice. So we can just slide them in and out. Pretty straightforward and easy. So hopefully I won't have to do that, but I might have to disassemble more to be able to reinstall. What is going on today, guys? So today is a brand new day, and what we're going to be doing today, I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of filming because we're going to change out the control arms on the Farm Find Foxbody. So what I've learned in the past is I really don't take very good video underneath the car. So I am likely just not going to video it. It's going to be pretty easy. I do have to take off the mufflers and the tailpipes to be able to get to the upper control arm bolts. All pretty straightforward stuff. But once I get all of that out, I can also do the torque box reinforcements, and hopefully I can just cruise right along. So I'm going to do that, and then when I am done, when I'm getting to the point where I'm going to throw the rear end back in the car, I'll start filming again. All right, see you then. What's going on, guys? So it's been a couple of days, and I decided to order some new stuff. So we went ahead and ordered a Clutch Max, kind of a cool, it's a chromoly flywheel. As well as a puck style clutch for this car. I already have the trans, sorry, hold on one second. I actually ended up off camera pulling out the trans. This second gear synchro likes to pop out, so unfortunately it's so clean, but it likes to pop out. So we're gonna actually take the T5 that was in that car that I scrapped, and we're gonna go ahead and put that in because that whole transmission shifts beautifully. The only thing I need to do is I need to change the top plate, as well as I think I just need to take out the sensor out of the side and swap out the input shaft. So those are all straightforward things to do, as well as I did order the solid crush sleeve eliminator for this 8.8, so we are actually gonna pull it back apart to get that done, as well as a new pinion seal. I started to bend up some lines, but I was missing some tube nuts, So those are showing up today later on. But for the most part, after I do this rear end is good to go back in the car. So we did get all of these painted as well. These are the torque box stiffeners for the lower torque box. The upper ones won't fit with this being a convertible. So once I get that done, I can go ahead and throw these in, put the control arms in, as well as I've got the uppers right here, and then really this rear end is ready to go back up into the car and get us moving. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with changing over the stuff on the transmission, getting that all good to go, and then we'll move over to the rear end. All right, we're going to get started.
Fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. Now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it up, you'll see who had it all. You had it all.
Okay, so this is the trans out of that 94, so I did go ahead and get that top plate off because I need to reuse that. So now I'm going to basically break this one down, just like how I broke that one down, because I need to put the input shafts in, as well as swap the bell housing, because they're incompatible, as well as I'm going to swap the top plate and probably the rear shifter assembly, as well, or I'm sorry, this tail housing as well, because I think that those are in much better shape overall. And yeah, I'll just get started.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it rain. just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up, babe. Tonight we gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up now.
Okay, well here she is. She's fully rebuilt. I ended up using the 94 extension housing, so I guess there's some sort of brake something. I think they call it a brake lockout. But I did put on the 86 plate on there, as well as I put on the V8 V8 input shaft, as well as the bushing. So you know what? Now we are in really good shape. It spins super nicely. I did have to take it apart again. I think I had something. Either it was like this wasn't liking to mate with this right here with like the main housing, so it kept pinching, and I was like, this isn't right. It should spin freely, and now it does. So I basically just worked these bolts tight while spinning this. This is just the old pressure plate that I had, so I just threw it on there just to make it spin nice and easily, and yeah, now she's good to go. So this is all taken care of. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the rear end and get that solid bushing installed and that seal changed. I do still have to change this seal, but that's something I'll do off camera. Okay, so now we're going to get to doing the crush sleeve eliminator. So unfortunately I have to go ahead and remove a lot of what I've already done on this, which is the calipers, the cover, and then pull the axles out to be able to get the carrier out. But thankfully it's all pretty straightforward stuff. So I'm going to get cracking on this, we'll get it all out, and then I'll show you how to put one of these in. It's pretty straightforward and easy. Okay, so now we've got the pinion out. This is what's called the crush sleeve right here, so you actually physically crush this when you are putting in a pinion, because it adds some preload on these bearings. The bearings look good, they don't look too worn, so I'm just going to leave them as is. I might swap to a different system later on anyways, so thankfully this is not a huge deal. But this is called the crush sleeve eliminator kit. So you got a bunch of shims in here, and then you have an interlocking little solid bushing. Basically we just need these two to match height. Okay, so kind of eyeballing it. Looks like we'll have to take out about half the clutch packs, but thankfully don't have to eyeball it because we have a it's called a little measuring device, micrometer. That's the name I was looking for. So, grabbing out the micrometer, zeroing it out. Let's take a look. We are looking at 0.4275 of an inch. Okay. So this is easy, just go ahead and pop this off right here. It should come off nice and easily. That one did. They're gonna fight me. There we go. Okay, so you could probably go through and measure out all of these individually. Let's see, there's a good stack of these shims right there. So let's take a look at what we're going to be working with right here. So we're looking at 3.160. We need to hit 4275. So we're just going to put this in real quick to see where we're at on this. So we're already extremely close. We're at 4265. Let's see if it's maybe just being over exaggerated. So yeah, okay. So you know what? Putting a little bit of pressure on it. Down to 4235. Let's add. It's gonna kind of just be a little bit of a guessing game. Now you can measure these out and do a bunch of stuff. To be honest, I'm gonna say 3 of these is gonna get us to where we need to go. That's gonna be my lucky little guess. Looks like they have varying thicknesses as well, so that's always fun to deal with. I don't know if you're catching my sarcasm there, but let's take a look now. We are at 4590, so way too thick. Take this out. I'm going to take out this. There's one that was way bigger. Let's try with just 2. So even this. 4380. We may only need to add 1. Let's see. Let's try that now. See, this is where it starts to get a little bit confusing, because 4275, this is basically measuring. See if we measure right here, 4270. That's pretty good. Let's see. So this singular washer, which you can barely see is in there, it's giving us that. We might go with that, but I kind of want to go. There's a one's just a touch thicker. Should only be 1. In here, is this not? Yeah, there she is. These are kind of hard to get out with oil on your hands, that's for sure. Gotta try to catch it with something. There we go. I'm gonna put that one right there. Let's see if we have another ultra thin. We do. I'm gonna try actually 2 of these incredibly thin ones, because these are probably 0.005 thickness. If I were to measure it, I'd almost guarantee that actually. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and put that in right like that, right there. Squeeze her down. See, I just don't. See, these are saying it's like basically like 0.04. So maybe they're 0.5, which is crazy, but I guess really one's just gonna do it then for this rear end. It really only wants 1. We could try swapping out the 2. See if we get a nice consistent measurement here. I mean, no, it's saying 4.28. So unless I swapped out, we'll probably just run it just like this. Slide that one on like that, right there. Should be just like that. And then now we can go slide her in and take a look, but first I'm going to change out that seal that's bad, the whole reason why we're doing this, and we'll see if this gets us to our goal or not. Okay, so I just got done putting back together the rear end, at least as far as getting the axles back in and whatnot. I'm not going to put the brakes on until everything's all done. So now I'm going to basically just start these with the impact, but then I'm going to torque them to 77 foot-pounds. Okay. 3, 4. Okay, so now the back one is a little bit difficult. You need to measure inch pounds to be able to, basically it's inch pounds to get it moving. So I've seen a bunch of different numbers, just quickly looking online. I've seen anywhere from 20 to 23 inch pounds to get it moving, but I've also seen as low as 8 to 14. So I'm gonna tighten this up real quick again. Probably give it a couple of more ugga-duggas this time. We can't really go wrong in this instance because we've got that crush sleeve eliminator in there, so it's not a big deal. But I'm going to get all the fun tools out now. Okay, so now you need one of these cool little needle gauges. Make sure they're straight. I think you literally just do it with your hand like that. So now we're going to put up this insane... I think it's so funny. You have to put multiple little adapters to be able to get these working correctly. So... let's take a look at how much it's going to need to break free. Right now, looks like we're at, yeah, probably about 4. Right now, I'm going to hit it up a little bit more. Okay, feeling a little bit better. Okay, so now we're at just about 20. I think that's going to be a little much. These are worn bearings, so I'm going to back it off just a bit. Seems a little better. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we're right at about 12. We're going to send this as it is. Seems to be pretty good for everything all considered. So, yeah, we should be in good shape now. Got the seal replaced that was leaking, and yeah, 12 foot-pounds. Again, I was seeing 8 to 14. I'll go double check one more time, but that's pretty much it. Crush sleeve eliminators, really easy to put in, and yeah, I'd recommend them. Okay, after double checking some things, we got her all put back together. Still need to glue down the diff cover. One thing, so on the pinion, let me scroll in there. Okay, the recommendation I was reading online was to do that without putting the carrier back in to retorque it. I ended up going back off screen, going back, rechecking everything, and it was exactly the same. So, did not make any difference whatsoever for me to have the pinion in or out. It was much easier with the pinion in, or I'm sorry, the carrier in. So we torqued her to 12 pounds to brake force. Went ahead and put some hardware in with these 94-95 brake hoses for the calipers. So more or less, this thing's set and ready to get back into the car. So I'm waiting because I found like these weird tabs right there in the rear end. So from what I was reading, these aren't a big deal. Not at all, so hopefully we'll be good to go. So, and then over here, ignore all the trash, we've got the rebuilt transmission ready to go. This was the old trans that was in the car, minus this top plate, which was on that trans, and kind of have some things here all just kind of sorted and ready to go. But that is ready to go back in the car. The rear end is ready to go back in the car. We're just about ready to put these control arms in, and the other ones are over there, and get really cooking. So once all of that is in, unfortunately we also got to put this clutch in. Actually, I don't even think I showed this off. This thing's sweet. So this is a chromoly lightweight, if I can get it out of the package. There we go. Chromoly lightweight flywheel, as well as I got like another puck style clutch to go in the car as well. So we'll go ahead, and I'm thinking probably tomorrow, but we'll see. Tomorrow, go in, put the clutch and the flywheel back on the car, the new stuff. Let me make sure, there we go. Then we can, I'm gonna still need to pull the long tubes. The long tubes are interfering with getting the trans in and out of the car. They're coming off anyways because we've got these Ford Racing ones right there to go on. So probably going to go ahead and pull the long tubes off the car first before putting the trans back in. But then we can do clutch, flywheel, get all of that taken care of. We can even probably put the rear end back in the car at that point as well. Off camera, I also did redo the aluminum drive shaft, so that is good to go back into the car. So once all that's done, we still won't have exhaust done yet on the car, and I still want to put this K-member in. So K-member, as well as the front spindles, all of that stuff still will need to go onto the car. So the goal, at least hopefully tomorrow, would be to get control arms back in. It would be cool to get the trans back in. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be the case or not. As well as kind of get all this stuff, at least get it rolling again so I can move it around and go from there. I'll have to decide if I want to fill up the trans and the rear end and then flip the car around to do that front end piece. I haven't decided yet, so we'll make that decision. But this car is going to be sick because it's going to get these crazy 275/40/17 wheels that were on the 94 that had Nitto G2555s on, like a real sticky nice tire. I'm really excited for those. Are going to be in the rear, and then we just got some basic ones up front. But very excited. It's gonna set the car off super killer. What is going on today, guys? So today we actually have a beautiful day outside. It's 50 degrees. It's middle of December as of right now, so I had to get a couple of things done. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to go ahead and get the K-member out of this car, swap to the tubular K-member. Want to do that with the garage door open because it's it'd be a lot easier. But also, I am cooking up in my homemade hot tank a bunch of different parts. You're probably not going to be able to see that. I have a video about how that all works. You just use some basic soap, some degreaser, and yeah, you're in good shape. So what I'm going to need to do to get this K-member out, I need to pull the wheel off. Basically, I need to pull everything at the front wheels off completely to be able to get to all of the bolts. Then I'm going to need to hold the motor up somehow. I haven't totally devised how I'm going to do that. I do need to get the exhaust off anyways, but I'm concerned. I've probably got about another 3 hours of daylight, so I'm concerned with the timing on that. However, I think that we're just going to start working and see how far we can get and go from there. All right, let's get started. Okay, well, we got the whole K-member out. Unfortunately, one of those bolts just kept spinning, so kept that, but there's all the wheels, the tires, the spindles. I threw the shocks over there in my pile, but there she is. So now I'm going to try to get the K-member that's all the way over there in, and hopefully we can do it before it starts getting cold out. So it's about 3 o'clock now, maybe 4 o'clock? Maybe 4 o'clock. So thankfully it's only 10 bolts to go in, including the motor mounts, but it's going to get all that lined up and get it going. That's kind of something I'm a little concerned with. So hopefully we can get that done and in and keep moving. And just like that, our K-member is installed. So it was a little bit of a difficulty. I had to basically get this mounted up first, then go back in, do the engine mounts so I can get everything done, but she's in. There's so much more clearance, just like the green car. It is so much better. Should be a little bit stiffer than the factory one, as well as it's gonna work a lot better. We went with the 94 to 04 length control arms as well. It's gonna give it a little bit wider track, which should make the car handle a bit better. Probably gonna end up doing a bump steer kit on it, as well as converting it all to the 5 lug stuff. So it's coming along. A lot of work, but it is coming along. So what is going on, guys? So today we've been out in the garage. We've been getting a couple of things done. Namely, the big stuff that we've been getting done is we were able, sorry, there's so much exhaust stuff going on, but we were able to pull off the headers off of the motor, as well as we were able to go ahead, sorry, I got some cleaning stuff going on. We were able to get the clutch off. So now we are going to be putting on this killer Clutch Max chromoly flywheel. I did install the 50-ounce counterweight because this motor's after 82, and I was reading 82 is the year for the counterweights. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and then we're going to put the clutch in, and then probably going to go ahead and put that trans back in, get that all taken care of. We picked up a new motor mount, and yeah, ideally we get the clutch in, we get the transmission put back in, and potentially even get the rear end put back in today to kind of get everything starting to get going. Sorry about that, battery died. But anyways, got the headers off, which gives access to the bell housing, and was able to, like I said, break this project open. So went in, tore off the clutch, tore off the flywheel, and just spent some time cleaning up that flush plate, the motor plate that goes in between the motor and the transmission. So now to start getting everything installed. Well guys, after a long day, the transmission is back in. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to really show that, but she's all in. We got the brand new flywheel and clutch disc in. That is all done. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I got the exhaust off, so thankfully a lot of work, but she's in. So tomorrow, just because unfortunately I ran out of silicone lube for the control arms, but tomorrow we're gonna put the control arms in, the rear end in, and the drive shaft in, and yeah, we're moving right along. So very excited about that, and hopefully we can get everything wrapped up, at least for this part, tomorrow. I do need to adjust some brake lines. I also need to do just a couple of real tiny things. Thankfully nothing like crazy, but just a couple of small things still need to get done, and then yeah, then we can start tearing into the motor. Good morning. Today is the day we are going to put in that rear end back into the Foxbody. So a couple things we need to get done before that. I do need to put in these the torque box reinforcement. This is the lower reinforcements, and then I can put the control arms in. So I'll probably get this done because this is going to be kind of a little bit of a finagling a little bit to get those in first, and then once those are in, I'll probably throw the camera back on so we can roll that underneath and get her all bolted up. The only other thing we might do today is we might also get the front hub situation figured out. So we do have everything pretty much in good spot right there. We've got the control arm in. We are going to go with a front coilover setup, a kind of a different coilover setup where it's over the existing strut itself. I think it's a UPR system. It's this one right here. I did already take the nuts off, so we can go ahead and put the caster camber plates on it. But might also get that one done today. Not entirely sure. If we do, then we'll have all four corners. We could put it all on the ground and flip it around to get onto the engine stuff. So yeah, we're gonna get cruising. I'm gonna get that stuff done, and then we'll circle back. So we were able to get the lower control arms in. I threw the uppers in. We put the plates in. I don't know if this is gonna come through. Probably not. But yeah, something like right there. So anyways, we're able to get all that in. And now it's time to put this rear end back in. So the rear end still needs a couple of things to be totally finished. I need to seal the diff cover, not a big deal, and I need to finish the brake lines. So I was going back and forth because it's kind of strange. These are factory brake lines I also happen to get my hands on. So they're 3/8 24 on one end, but 7/16 24 on the other. So I had originally flared my copper lines that way, and then I got a little nervous and got some adapters, but I think I'm gonna throw the copper lines back on, and then we're good to go ahead and seal that up. So from there, that should be pretty much it for the rear. If I get that rear end in, I could throw the wheels on. We could see what those big fat wheels they had on the 994 will look on this car. And just like that, we officially have a 5-lug Foxbody. Got everything in there. The only thing that needs to be wrapped up in the back end is the brakes, as well as the drive shaft needs to be reconnected. But we're good. Look at that fitment. God, is that good. Nice thick 275s. Well, now that we have the rear end more or less done, I'm going to get started on the front end, and hopefully we can put the front wheels on as well to drop this thing on all 4 tires. Well, I'm very sweaty and a little tired, but she's done. Boom! Look at that. Let's see. That fit right there is crazy. The meats in the back also crazy. So, perfect. Well, like I said, that was a ton of work. I still have to dial in a lot of the stuff in the front end. The wheels we're gonna have to get aligned, because not only is there not only is there toe alignment, but there's caster camber alignment. Still need to get the steering shaft figured out and hook up the exhaust. And then we could start tearing into the motor. We've got these E7 heads right there. Over there somewhere is the GT40 intake. I do have a set of shorty headers I'm going to put on it, as well as I'm going to fab up some new exhaust. And then probably end up pulling the heads first, and then we'll pull the booster because it'll give us a lot more room. But ultimately, that's what a lot of this all was about, was upgrading the brakes. So we still have the Cobra booster, we've got the SVO Master, so we're right in the thick of it, thankfully. So now pretty much everything's all together. At least as far as I need it to be together for right now. So now I've got it on my rollers, so probably tomorrow I'm going to flip her around so I can have access to the motor, the front side of the motor, and start tearing into that. So alright, well, we got a lot done today, but I am done for the day, so catch you guys next time.